Nimmst du auf?
Ja, gleich wieder. Aber ich hab sie drauf.
Ist das schon drauf?
Ich habe sie drauf. Wir können.
At this corner were some killings from ETA, from the terrorists from ETA, yeah. Yeah, they change it quite often. In memoriam, yes. Pues ya he dicho, hay que subir, ahora ya. No, también, pero yo hago más andando. Es que en Madrid se hace todo andando.
Sí.
Es que además no tiene sentido, o sea, que decir, se puede hacer en bus, pero no puedes ir por el centro porque ahora lo han peatonizado todo y antes no estaba peatonizado, pero no es horrible, con lo cual tampoco tenía. Así que si haces las panorámicas, pues para, yo que sé, el Bernabéu, Plaza de Toros, la Gran Vía. Pero yo sobre todo andando. I warned you with up and down. Yeah, we are going to wait there. Every day after this street, I say, okay, I have to, I'm not fit. I have to do some more running or whatever because I need like 5 minutes to catch my breath.
Actually, that's the technique you do. Just take few deep breaths. Lower your mask as you can. Take a deep breath when you're away from everybody and then try to speak slower.
Okay, we'll try. Yeah, I usually take my time, like before starting to speak again.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's 50% entertainment, 50% information. Just take it easy.
Yeah. Do we have Italians in the group? No. Okay.
Saudi Arabia, Greece, Austria.
Okay. There are some delegates, but not here. Okay, yeah, that's his beautiful building.
In Abu Dhabi, we have the Instituto Italiano de Cultura very active.
Okay, they are very active.
Instituto Cervantes.
Oh, really? Okay, that's.
What's the Saudi embassy?
That's
or consulate?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know. I only know my consulate because I have to go there to renew my pass.
Where from originally?
Switzerland. That's all I knew about embassies. Okay, a few of them. No, the Italian one, they have a very beautiful.
Is it nice?
So, are we all here? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Let's continue.
We have time.
Yes, we have time, and especially now we are going to, not the sunset itself, but the beginning of that, because we have the best point to enjoy the sunset just here. And let me show you how beautiful the Royal Palace and the Cathedral from this viewpoint is. So let's cross there. Okay, now for your orientation, I wanted to say that's the Calle Mayor, the main street again. Before we went to the Plaza Mayor, to the main square, we went to the Calle Mayor from Sol. We are back again. Now we are crossing to the other side. That's the Church of Sacramento. That's the cathedral of the army in Spain. If you turn, that's the army shop, that's the army corner. That's the headquarters of the Spanish army. Here the building, that's the cathedral of the army, and here are the shops if you want to have your nice suits, but you have to show them that you are an officer or a commander or whatever. So, but we are going to see all of that from above, much nicer. Okay.
Biombo is B&B, something like B&B.
Street of Biombo.
Yeah, Biombo, it's one piece of furniture.
Furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice word.
Yeah.
I will call my dog Biombo.
Okay. So it's a little bit too early for sunset. It's in more or less 1 hour. But still, you can imagine that's one of the best spots to enjoy the sunset in Madrid. The sun goes down in this, in this mountains. Yeah, exactly. And that's together with the Templo de Voz, the most known spots for sunset in Madrid. You see, people are waiting here. Some of them they bring their own wine or something. Yeah, exactly. Romantic isn't anymore because now we have 3 groups, but maybe 1 hour there are like 10 or so romantic you expect something quiet alone and whatever. That's not anymore.
What
but
is the church called?
that's the Cathedral of Madrid.
That's the cathedral.
That's the Cathedral La Almudena, and that's the Royal Palace.
Yeah.
That's the origin of the city of Madrid. This fortress was built here. The first Muslim fortress was built here, and exactly in the place, because from here they could control the north of the region. That's the mountains who share Spain in half, and from Sierra de Guadarrama, and from that they could really from here. Now with pollution we see nothing, but usually you could see more or less the mountains. We have 2 small ski resorts with about, I don't know, 10 ski lifts. But you can imagine with a city with 3.5 million people how it is during the 4 or 5 weekends where it's snow. And you see now it's no snow. We have to, okay, it was snow last month, but at last, with these temperatures, with this climate, it doesn't last a lot. Okay, so here they built this fortress, and from here they sent the razzias, the Muslims, to fight against the Christians. And when the Christians, they took Madrid, they took this city, they decided to stay or to continue to use this fortress, build it bigger, make it nicer, but still it was the same building. And the Habsburg, they use the building, and they changed a few things outside, but that's how it looked. That's seen from the other side.
Is the Alcazar?
Yeah, genau, that's the Alcazar. If you give me your email, I can send you all the pictures. That's seen from the other side, because the river, that's too big. The stream of Madrid, El Manzanares, is in the other side. All the green area you see, that's the biggest park in Madrid. That's the Casa de Campo. That was the hunting place of the kings and the queens until 1931. That's because it's nothing built there. It was a hunting place. Yes. And since the Second Republic in Spain, they took all the possessions from the crown and gave it to the city of Madrid and to the people. So the Habsburg, they lived here, but what was the problem with the Habsburg? They exchanged princesses. We sent exactly. We sent our princesses to Vienna, and we got the female of Austria coming to Madrid. So finally they married the whole time, cousins. When you do that, after 4 or 5 generations, you degenerate exactly, and
That was the second.
you know it perfectly.
Yeah. The second. He was absolutely.
So.
Well, died. Everybody died, but he was.
Such a Habsburg
Yeah,
king.
El
So-
Prado is a
Typical, yeah.
beautiful
Exactly.
portrait.
Yeah, you have it on the Prado if you go to see that.
No kids.
Yeah, exactly. He has no kids.
He
Yeah.
couldn't have.
Yeah,
ability anymore.
exactly. He couldn't have kids. So that was the final years of the Habsburgs. And after that, after a war, the Bourbon, the French, they came here.
Yes.
So you can imagine Philip V was the niece of Ludwig XVI in Paris. He grew up in Versailles with all this luxus and all this new palace. And when he came here and found this old building, this old castle, he was a little bit disappointed. So he refused at the beginning to live here. He lived at the palace, at the Retiro Gardens. And a few years later, during Christmas time, a candle fell, nobody was in the palace, and in 3 days everything disappeared. It was mostly built in wood. So that's because, and it was Christmas time, when people heard the bell like today, they didn't thought it was help, it was crying for help, but they thought it was simply the Christmas bells, and nobody came to rescue or to help with the fire. So that's because in 3 days everything was burned up. But they decided to use this place to build the new palace in the new style, was in late Baroque style, with the first project of the Louvre. That's what they use here with Italian architects to build this big palace. It's the biggest palace in Europe. We have nobody from England. Okay, they say Buckingham is the biggest palace. It's not true. It's the biggest palace people still live here. This palace is officially the residence of the kings and the Queen of Spain, but they don't live here anymore. They live in a much more smaller palace outside the city. Exactly in this green area, if you go in direction of the mountains, El Pardo. And it was a hunting palace, exactly that's where they live. And the palace today, we use that as a museum, as a representative estate, like El Aranjuez, but much more use. Every time you have a head of state coming to Madrid, he has here his appointment with the king, or it's like once every 2 weeks, the king has some event here at the Royal Palace.
8th of February, it's been yesterday and the day before they was closed.
Exactly, because it's used for official purpose, and that's priority. So even it can happen that you have bought your cards for a group with, I don't know, a school or whatever, with 3 months in advance, and when 2 weeks before they send you an email, give you your money back and say, sorry, the kings need it. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
The classic.
And you've seen also the changing guard ceremony.
Today is Wednesday, exactly.
Yes, but it's not smaller versions.
Yeah, and we have the honor to have the most ugliest cathedral of Spain.
Why?
It's not so easy. There are a lot of cathedrals. We couldn't have the most beautiful because that's a litigation between Burgos, León and Toledo. So we thought that's very difficult, so let's make it different. Let's make it ugly. So that's ours.
That's not true.
If you can't compete, then find another way to be remarkable. One of the main idea of the Habsburg to have his capital of the country here in Madrid is because there was no big family and no bishop. So no big noble family who can really. So really, the king was the master of the city. The bishop was in Toledo. We are going to go to the Toledo, and so was the king and the church. Quite happy. But when the Bourbons came, the French ones, they were very centralized people. Everything had to be in Madrid, in the capital. So they fight years after year to bring the bishop to Madrid. But the bishop in Toledo is the most important bishop in Spain. So he has a lot of power, and he was very happy to have all the incomes of the city of Madrid, all the monasteries, cloisters, and so that was like a litigation who went for more than 100 years. And finally, 1883, Madrid became the headquarters of the new bishopdom of Madrid, Alcalá. Yeah, exactly. That's the time when they started to build the cathedral. So it took 100 years to finish it, from 1883 till 1993. And that's because it's a very mixed size. Every new architect who came changed the plan, changed the project. We have a neo-Gothic interior in a yellow stone, imported from Italy, very expensive one. But after the Civil War, there was money here, so they used the granite stone from the mountains of Madrid, and they changed completely. So that's because we have an exterior neoclassical and an interior with sandstone from Italy in yellow. From below you can see the difference, but from here is the best point to see the difference between the interior and the exterior shape. It's very, very modern. The statues are all the important saints and bishops of Madrid and Spain. Because in the royal palace you have the same. You have the kings, the most important kings, that's Philip V and his son Ferdinand. So to make a little bit the same, they decided to put the sculptures of the most important saints in Madrid and Spain and the most important bishops. Yes?
Tú ofreciste que nos ibas a dar unas fotos, si fueras tan amable.
Sí, ok.
Muy amable.
Lo tengo que ¿Tienes un boli?
Sí.
Para ponerme fotos, que si no luego me guardo las tarjetas y no sé de qué son.
No sabes para qué.
Digo, ¿por qué me ha dado la tarjeta?
Sí, claro.
Si no te importa.
No, la encuentro con el boli.
Sí. Lo que pasa es que venía una horita más tarde.
Claro. Bueno, es que llegamos tarde, ¿verdad?
Bueno, no, tampoco, si estaba previsto terminar antes, pero tampoco...
A las 6 tenía que estar saliendo.
Ya con lo del café, pues justo lo que vamos a tardar, no pasa nada, estamos ahí enseguida. Si tienes mucha prisa, te digo y vas directa, en 10 minutillos llegas, ¿eh?
¿Sí?
Sigues todo por aquí, pum, pum, pum. Llegas a la Plaza de España y de la Plaza de España ya coges la Gran Vía y subes al hotel. Bueno, de hecho la anterior...
¿Que aquí qué queda, ver?
Nada, yo ya voy para el hotel, pero como vamos más despacio voy a tardar por lo menos 20 minutos, no me quita nadie. Tú deprisa llegas en 10. Pero bueno, como quieras.
Es que tengo a mi sobrina aquí, fíjate, a las 7 hemos quedado en la tienda de Salo, que yo no sé ni dónde está.
¿La tienda de qué?
Salo, para comprarse los zapatos que se va a casar.
Ay, ni idea.
Tenemos
Ah,
visita. A
Ah,
las
pues
7 tenemos visita.
estará en... Hay una tienda de...
Tengo que ir al hotel porque he hecho el checkout hoy.
Ok.
Me quedaré en casa de ella.
All included.
Yes, yes, okay.
Accommodation for the guys.
Sí. Take a look at the view that they have from the Royal Palace. Not bad, eh? A very good choice for the location. Gracias.
Fotos.
Fotos, ya está. Entonces ya me la guardo. Enviar fotos.
Muy amable. Ah, gracias.
Es que si no me apunto no...
Sí, sí, yo sé. Pero si vienes a Viena, me avisas.
Vale. Ah, perfecto.
Yo estoy en Viena.
Okay. Ah, es verdad, me lo has dicho.
We love Madrid.
So, and in 10 minutes, we are arriving again to the bustle, to the crowd, to the Gran Via. The Gran Via is just the black dome That's the Spain Square, the Plaza de España, and this the beginning of the Gran Vía again. ¿Qué les ha gustado más o qué?
Hoy. Es que pasa que en Aranjuez el palacio muy bonito, pero los jardines estaban
Ay,
tan
sí.
secos.
Sí.
Las fuentes no tenían agua.
Yo era más partidaria, pero es que no dependía de nosotros, la Dirección General de Turismo, pero yo hubiera preferido, o sea, creo que el Escorial tenía más,
Sí.
es más. Pero oye, ellos ponían la visita, pues, ¿qué le vamos a hacer? Lo que ellos deciden, tendrán algún acuerdo, yo qué sé, sabes, nunca sabes tú luego de la política.
Pues la comida no era típica de aquí. Fue un poco
Ah, vaya por Dios. Ya, sí. Pues mira, este es Felipe IV. Who asked about the sculptures at the cathedral? It was you?
Sí, yo.
Yeah, okay. You see, here we have the most important sculptures of the los Reyes Godos, of the Spanish kings. The project of the palace was to have where the vases are all the kings of the history in Spain, from Catalonia, from Basque, from Navarra, from everywhere. But when they finished the palace, 35 years after starting it, more or less, the style has changed. From late Baroque, we were just in the explosion of neoclassicism, and this kind of sculptures there wasn't any more stylish. And the queen, the legend says, the queen has nightmares thinking that all the sculptures were going to fall into the palace. So they changed the idea, and now you can see it there, you see. It's the whole square is surrounded by all these palaces, but we have a lot of them, and we have here at the Retiro Palace, in Burgos, in Sevilla. If you want some statues of kings and queens, please ask, we can send it over. We have too much. Anyways.
Are you sure? I don't mind.
In fact, they put all the figures in the cellar without names. So years later, when they finished the square and wanted to put them again, they didn't know who was it. So it's more or less. It's like someone say, okay, he has a face, could be a Rodrigo or could be an Alphonse. Yeah. Yeah, with a mustache, I think with a mustache could be Alphonse. That's it. So it's more or less.
Vanessa, what is that big building?
Yeah, that's a nice dome, exactly. That's the Church of Saint Teresa. It's a church. No, exactly. It's here. It's not like mosque, but exactly.
Because the dome.
Yeah, because of the dome, because it's made with tiles, and when the sun shines, exactly.
It reflects.
Yeah. It's not very far away from the hotel. It's like 10 minutes walking because the hotel is right on the corner, and from there it's like 10 minutes. Okay. It's the perfect way now. If you go through the dome and then you arrive to the Egyptian temple, Templo de Bod, you have another nice sunset place. So, and in front of the Royal Palace we have the Opera House. Queen Elizabeth II was a huge fan of classical music, of opera, and Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah, we had only 2 queens. So this one, the second one, both with the same name. That's easy to remember. And she was a great lover. Exactly. And yes. She was the one who decided to build this opera house, this Royal Theatre, that's the name here, just in front of the Royal Palace.
Is he on the horseback?
That's Philip IV. That's the father of the Charles II. That's the one in Las Meninas.
Yeah, Las Meninas.
Exactly. That's the one who ruled here in Spain. Exactly. Yes. Okay.
But the opera is now working. Do they have something tonight?
Yeah, they have almost every night. Not every night, but
We could go to the opera.
they are.
You need to be in.
Instead of shopping. This is a dilemma.
Yeah.
Opera.
Yeah, they have very interesting tours.
If we go to the opera, I can go to my social shelf.
Yeah. They have very, very interesting tours to see the backstage. Very, very interesting backstage.
So I'll make it for all of you together. One,
Perfect.
1, 2, and 3, and again, one more time. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, hello.
Thank you very much.
You missed it. We are so lucky to be here.
Lucky to be here.
Happy International Tour Day.
Oh my God. But the most interesting is really to do the stage tour, the technic tour, because yes.
Sorry to interrupt you there. You have been really great, and from all of us, we have something for you with great
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But we are going to the hotel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
But if we go like this, we get to
Okay. Yes. Shopping. This direction. Hotel. This direction. Eating. Drinking.
That one.
This one. So you have to decide shopping, drinking, or hotel resting. I'm going to the hotel. Yes, I'm going back to the hotel. Exactly. Yes. So hotel, come with me, and if you have any questions.
Do you have your power bank? Yeah, but I don't know how much